Dear students, how are you doing in this pandemic situation? Hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty. Dear students, you have been attending your online classes for several months, but this is my first class with you. So, let me first introduce myself. I am Krishna Kabery, Assistant Professor, English. Today, I am going to read with you Unit 11, Lesson 2. You know that the title of this unit is Tours and Travels. So, this lesson is no exception. So, let's see what is the title of this lesson. Arriving in the Orient. This is the title of Lesson 2, Unit 11. Okay. Now, what is Orient? From the title, we understand that someone is coming to the Orient. So, what is Orient? Actually, the eastern part of the world is called Orient. Okay. That means the countries like Japan, China, Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Myanmar, and some other countries are included in the Orient. Whereas the western part of this world is called Occident. বাংলাতে যেটাকে আমরা বলি পাশ্চাত্য, আর ওরিয়েন্টকে বাংলাতে বলা হচ্ছে প্রাচ্য. So, someone is coming to the Orient. Who is coming? Let's see. This lesson is an extract taken from Burmese Days by George Orwell. George Orwell was an English novelist, short story writer, journalist, poet, and critic. But George Orwell was his pen name. His actual name was Eric Arthur Blair. We all know that this subcontinent was once under the colonial rule of British Empire. And George Orwell was serving as a police officer in Myanmar in some time of the colonial rule by British Empire. Okay. When this subcontinent was under the British Empire, a large number of British people loved to come here. For various purposes they came. For example, for ruling purpose, or for service, or for business purpose, or to meet their relatives staying here. And we know that the British people loved India subcontinent very much. Actually, they fantasized about the glorious life here. And they also loved the scenic beauty of it. But what is irony is that They hated the native people intensely. So, in this text, we will see that Elizabeth, an young English woman, is coming to the Orient. And through her, George Orwell depicted the typical colonial mind setup of the British people. But before going through the text, you should learn some word meaning from the text, because there are so many new words for you. So let's take a glance of it. Herald, porpoise, flock, hull, phosphorescent, arrowhead. These are the meaning or synonym of these words, and these are the antonym of these words. Anticipation, flapping, gallop, reverently, flipped. Whack, bask, stain, yell, gangway, besought. This is the past form of beseech. Key, sputtle, lukewarm, egret, jolt, crimson. Now, dear students, I will read the text and request you to follow me. Okay? Elizabeth spent £30 on summer frocks and set sail immediately. As Elizabeth wanted to come to the Orient, she had to bought summer dresses because the Orient is hot in compared to England. And then her journey started. Sail means sea voyage. That means Elizabeth, she is coming on boarding ship. The ship, heralded by rolling porpoises, plowed across the Mediterranean and down the canal into a sea of staring enamel-like blue, then out into the green wastes of the Indian Ocean, where flocks of flying fish skimmed in terror from the approaching hull. This is a long sentence, so I will read it part by part and will explain it. The ship on which Elizabeth was on board was heralded by rolling porpoises, Porpoises, one kind of water animal like dolphin. This is porpoise. Okay. So Elizabeth saw some porpoises are swimming in front of their ship. That's why the narrator tells her that the ship was welcomed. Heralded means welcomed by the swimming porpoises. Plowed across the Mediterranean. Mediterranean Sea, we all know about it. Then the ship was moving across the Mediterranean. Okay? And down the canal into a sea of staring enamel-like blue. From the Mediterranean, the ship entered into the Suez Canal. The water of Suez Canal was enamel-like blue. This is enamel-like blue. Okay, and the water was also staring. That means drizzling. And from the Suez Canal, then out into the green wastes of the Indian Ocean. The ship reached in the Indian Ocean, where flocks of flying fish screamed in terror from the approaching hull. When the ship reached in Indian Ocean, Elizabeth saw the flocks of flying fish, and the flying fishes were leaped from here to there in fear of the ship. Hull means the outer part of the ship. Okay, this is the route from Europe to Asia. Okay. Mediterranean Sea and European countries are here. The European people at first came to the Mediterranean Sea on boarding ship, then entered in the Suez Canal, and then they came to the Indian Ocean, and the Orient is here. Okay. Actually, this is the shortcut way from Europe to Asia. These are the flocks of flying fish. This fish can fly, not like the birds, but a little bit. That's why these fishes are called flying fish. At night, the waters are phosphorescent. That means the water of the Indian Ocean became like drizzling. This is phosphorescent, okay? Like phosphorus. That's why the narrator tells that the water became phosphorescent. And the wash of the bow was like a moving arrowhead of green fire. And the water through which the ship was moving became like arrowhead. Arrowhead means the head of an arrow. And its color was like green fire. Elizabeth loved life on board ship. Elizabeth enjoyed her traveling. She was going to love India. She knew she had formed quite a picture of India from the other passengers' conversation. As I said before, that all the European people love to come India, and Elizabeth is no exception. So, while she was on the ship, she was merely coming to the India subcontinent. She started to love it, and she also depicted a glorious picture of India from the other passengers' conversation of the ship, because the ship was full of passengers who were coming from Europe to the Orient. She had even learned some of the more necessary Hindustani phrases, such as idhar aao, jaldi, shahid log, etc. And from the other passengers, Elizabeth also learned some necessary Hindi languages like this. In anticipation, she tasted the agreeable atmosphere of clubs, with pankhas flapping, and barefooted white turbaned boys reverently salaaming. And from the conversation of the passengers, Elizabeth also formed a picture of Indian clubs. Of course, the members of these clubs are English people, okay? But there, the pankhawala are barefooted black people, okay? Like him. These are the Indian people. He is an Indian, okay? And barefooted white turbaned boys reverently salaaming. And Elizabeth also dreamed that the boys wearing headdress, turban means headdress, okay? They are respectfully salaaming the English people. Okay, one thing I have to clear here, at that time in India, electricity was not so available. That's why there are no fans, and only this kind of cooling fans were used then. And these hand pankha or hand fans are cooled by the Indian or by the natives. Okay, and Moidans where bronze Englishmen with little clipped moustaches galloped to and fro, waking polo balls. Okay, polo balls. Moidan means open field, and in open field, the English people are playing polo. Elizabeth dreamed all this in her eyes. Okay, it was almost as nice as being rich, the way people lived in India. That means the English came in this subcontinent to lead a glorious life, to lead a rich life, okay, which was not possible in their own country, because they could rule the natives here. They sailed into Colombo through green glassy water, where turtles and black snakes floated basking. The ship came to the Indian Ocean and now it was moving towards Colombo. And the water was uh, glassy or crystal clear. And so Elizabeth could see turtles and black snakes are basking. Basking means to take heat from the sunshine. Okay? Of course, keeping themselves on the surface of water. A fleet of sampans came reaching out to meet the ship. When they reached Colombo, some sampans mean small boats, came to take them and to take them to the jetty or the dock of Colombo port. Okay, because the ship was large, so it couldn't reach to the port. But these sampans are driven by coal-black men, propelled by coal-black men with lips stained redder than blood by betel juice. That means the champanwalas are all black people and their lips are reddened with betel juice. They are also natives. They yelled and struggled around the gangway while the passengers descended. The passengers who are going to the jetty, they are descended, they are coming down, and the champanwalas shouted and struggled with each other to take them on their own boat. As Elizabeth and her friends came down, two champanwalas, their prows nosing against the gangway, besought them with yells. Two champanwala, they targeted Elizabeth and her friends to take them on their boat, and they started shouting, or they started to plead them to take their champan by saying, "Don't you go with him, missy, not with him. Bad wicked man, he, not fit taking missy." One of the champanwala is saying that, or he is forbidding Elizabeth to not to go to on his champans because the champanwala was a bad man. And the other champanwala, he said, "Don't you listen him lies, missy, nasty low fellow, nasty low tricks, him playing nasty native tricks." That means the other champanwala protested the champanwala, the first champanwala. "Ha ha, he is not native himself. Oh no, him European man. White skin, all same, missy. Ha ha." That means the first champanwala, he then protested the second champanwala. Okay? Actually, these are the conversation between the two champanwala. How they tried to take Elizabeth and her friends on their champans. "Stop your bat, you two, or I will fetch one of you a pick," said the husband of Elizabeth's friend. He was a planter. Then Elizabeth's friend's husband, he stopped the two champanwalas by giving threat. They stepped into one of the champans and rode towards the sunlight case. Elizabeth and the man, they boarded on one of the champan, and the champan then was going towards the jet quay. Quay means jetty or dock. And the successful champanwala turned and discharged at his rival a mouthful of spittle, which he must have been saving up for a very long time. Then the champanwala who succeeded to take Elizabeth and her friends on her boat, he showed his disgust towards the other champanwala by throwing spittle towards him. This was Orient. Scents of coconut and sandalwood, cinnamon and turmeric. Floated. Oh, sorry, here is not so visible, so let me try to make visible. This was the Orient. Scents of coconut oil and sandalwood, cinnamon and turmeric. Means the Orient is famous from the very old time from its spices. So one who came to Orient could smell the scents of all kinds of spices, and Elizabeth also could. Floated across the water onto Mount Lavinia, where they bathed in a lukewarm sea that foamed like Coca-Cola. And then, actually, Colombo was not the destination of these people, including Elizabeth, but they descended in Colombo for some time, for one day only. So they bathed in the Mount Lavinia, water of lukewarm of Mount Lavinia. Okay. And the water of Mount Lavinia was foaming like Coca-Cola. She came back to the ship in the evening, and they reached Rangoon a week later. So Elizabeth's ultimate destination was Rangoon. So 1 week later, she reached Rangoon. North of Mandalaya, the train, filled with wood, rolled at 12 miles an hour across a vast past plain bounded at its remote edges by blue rings of hills. Mandalaya is one of the city of Myanmar, and from Mandalaya, Elizabeth boarded on a train. But as I said before that at that time electricity was not so available, so the train was moving with the help of wood. Its fuel was wood, and that's why its speed was so slow. It was like crawling. That means 12 miles per hour was its speed. And the train was moving across a dry parched plain. Parched means dry plain, but on the other side of the plain was blue rings of hills. White egrets stood poised, motionless like herons. Egrets, one kind of birds like herons, and these egrets were standing motionlessly. And piles of drying chilies gleamed crimson in the sun. And the green chili, when they are dried in the sun, they become red. Okay, we know that. And these red chilies are gleaming like crimson in the sun. Sometimes a white pagoda rose from the plain like the breast of a Sapian giantess. Sapian means reluctant. Elizabeth also saw white pagodas. Sometimes these white pagodas are peeping from the plain. The early tropic night settled down, and the train jotted on slowly. So it is the already night, and the train stopped at a little station, stopping at little stations where barbaric yells sounded from the darkness. And Elizabeth heard the barbaric sound in the darkness because there was no electricity. Half-naked men with their long hair knotted behind their heads moved to and fro in torchlight. Elizabeth also saw the native people who were half-naked and their long hair was clipped behind, and they were going here and there, hideous as demons in Elizabeth's eyes. These natives were as ugly as demons in Elizabeth's eyes. The train plunged into the forest and unseen branches brushed against the windows. Then the train started moving, and it was then moving through a forest. It was about 9 o'clock when they reached Quektada. Quektada, another city of Myanmar, and the train reached at 9 o'clock there, where Elizabeth's uncle and aunt were waiting with Mr. McGregor's car. And at Quektada, Elizabeth's uncle and aunt were waiting to welcome her, and with some servants carrying torches. Her aunt came forward and took Elizabeth's shoulders in her delicate Syrian hands. That means Elizabeth's aunt welcomed Elizabeth warmly. I suppose you are our niece, Elizabeth. We are so pleased to see you, she said, and kissed her. That means Elizabeth is unknown to her uncle and aunt. They never met each other. Mr. Lakerstein peered over his wife's shoulder in the torchlight. He gave a half whistle, exclaimed, "Well, I'll be damned," and then seized Elizabeth and kissed her, more warmly than he need have done, she thought. Then Elizabeth's uncle, he also welcomed Elizabeth, but he did so warmly and closely that he should not do it. it seemed to Elizabeth. She had never seen either of them before. Elizabeth didn't meet her uncle and aunt before. This was their first meeting. So, this is the text. The text is over here. I think you have understood it. Okay. Now, there is an exercise for you. Actually, I have chose flowchart for you because this is one of the new item for you in your HSC level. So what you have to do in a flowchart? You are given a passage and then you are asked to make a flowchart from the passage. In your half-yearly exam, in some of the answer script I examined that some of you had answered not only from the given passage but outside of the passage. You should not do it because you have been given a specific passage and you have to answer from only this passage, okay, not from the rest of the text. So what you should do? At first, you will read the question very carefully and attentively. Okay? For example, read the passage below and make a flowchart showing the experiences of Elizabeth during her journey to India. One has been done for you. So, the focus point here is the experiences of Elizabeth during her journey to India. That means you have to focus only on this. And you have to mention the experiences of Elizabeth's journey only from the given passage. The limit should not be overlooked. Okay? So, take a look. The passage starts from here. That is, it is the first paragraph from your text, and then it ends here. Okay. So you have to choose your answer only from these paragraphs. So how you will write the answer of this flowchart? At first, we have to draw the boxes. Without drawing the boxes, without answering without boxes, your answer will be incorrect. You will get no marks. So, be careful, be attentive. At first, you have to draw the boxes. And then, you have to give the arrow mark between the boxes, and you have to give number to the boxes so that the flow of the boxes is easily found, and then after that you have to write answer in the boxes. Okay. And another important thing is that you have to give answer chronologically. There is a probable answer for you. The first one has already been done. So you have to write the first one at first. Then you will start from the second box. Here I have written having journey across the Mediterranean. Number 3, having journey across enamel-like blue water of canal. Number 4, seeing the flocks of flying fish. Number 5, enjoying phosphorescent water at night. Number 6, having formed a picture of India from other passengers' conversation. Number 7, learning some Hindustani phrases. Number 8, fantasizes about the clubs of India. Okay, dear students, you should not answer 8 boxes in the 8 boxes like me. Actually, I am here showing the probable answer of this question. Okay, I here have made 8 boxes because you can alternate the answers. You can give these and can skip these. Sorry. And you can give this, you can skip this, okay, like it. But I have mentioned here all the experiences of Elizabeth during her voyage, and all these experiences, Elizabeth's experiences, are taken from the given passage, not from the other paragraph of the text that are not given here. Okay. When we are reading the text, you find that the text is very long, so you should not answer from the rest of the text. You should answer only from the given text. So keep it in mind. That's all for today. Okay. Thanks a lot. And again, hope you are healthy and safe life.